Welcome everyone. Feels good to have my YouTube channel back. I want to send a special thanks to everyone that supported me in the last week. It was quite a difficult week. Regardless of what's happened, I'm here. I'm ready to provide a quick XRP markets update. Gonna be talking about the Clarity Act, some major updates about digital IDs on the XRP ledger. Going to show you a clip from Monica Long, the president of Ripple, talking about digital IDs. We're going to be discussing about what's the best strategy right now. As you might have realized, we are currently in a bear market, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. So we're going to be talking about all of this. And before we get started, if you enjoy this type of content, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Now let's get started.
I think I can do it in a minute. I'm up for the challenge. My name is Monica Long, and this is Crypto in a Minute. Decentralized identity is, so it's a big topic. There's a lot in there to unpack, but if I were to try to explain in a minute why I'm excited about decentralized identity, it's the idea that people can take back ownership of their identities. Today, we are all very much owned by big centralized Web 2 companies like Google and Facebook and Apple, etc. And those are the gates to pretty much anything that we do online or in the world. And in a Web 3 context with decentralized identity, I will now be able to take back ownership of my identity and all my information in a token that's transportable around the world and I can delegate access to. The other thing that I'm really excited about is I think this will blow open access to things like financial services for a lot of different people and increase financial inclusion. That was really hard.
So here are my thoughts about digital ID. I am both excited and terrified. Honestly, you can tokenize anything of value on the XRP ledger, and of course that includes digital IDs. So this is going to increase the demand for technologies like the XRP ledger, which are capable of tokenizing value on a blockchain in a highly efficient way with extremely low transaction fees and low energy consumption. And from this standpoint, the XRP ledger simply becomes the #1 choice for financial institutions. But here is what most of XRP creators are not telling you. Governments can and will leverage digital IDs to control you. If your digital ID is required to perform transactions, for instance, that's going to be connected to CBDCs, and governments are 100% going to use that to punish the population. We are talking about behavior-based permission. Remember what's happened back in 2019 and 2020? In other words, if you do not comply with the rules, they can restrict your bank account, your funds, your assets, and everything that's tied to your digital ID. So being very honest about digital IDs, I am only excited about the investment standpoint. Digital IDs are going to inevitably bring more assets on chain, which is going to increase XRP adoption, which ultimately can lead to XRP price appreciation. Now let's see what Brad Garlinghouse has to say about the Clarity Act and how that's going to affect digital assets and your portfolio.
And from this White House, we're seeing amazing leadership to push this forward. And so I think we're going to get there. It's just taking a little longer than we thought.
So what happens to Ripple once Clarity gets passed?
Well, it won't change Ripple's business too much. What it does is it unlocks the banks in the United States who have been a little bit fearful about, should I lean into this industry? What if there is a future Gary Gensler? And then how am I going to have to unwind things? So if we get that codified into law, it's an unlock for the banks around the world, particularly in the United States. So we have seen banks say to us, look, we understand that you won the lawsuit and you have clarity that XRP is not a security. And last week, obviously, that's another great step forward. But if we get it codified into law, I think you'll see more of the largest financial institutions in the United States and really the world lean in more to this industry.
And speaking of clarity, you gotta check this out. This is one of the reasons why I'm not selling my XRP. So I'm about to show you one of the reasons why I am never selling my XRP. So Ripple Treasury is connected to 13,000 banks. Ripple Treasury is basically connected to almost every single financial institution on this planet. You gotta ask yourself the right questions. What happens to XRP's price if only a fraction, only a tiny fraction of this $12.5 trillion of payments volume that is currently processed on Ripple Treasury If this $12.5 trillion in payments volume migrates on-chain and they start utilizing XRP as a neutral bridge asset as the fundamental settlement mechanism, what happens to XRP's price? This is one of the reasons why I am never selling XRP. Ripple is the only company that can literally flip a switch and trillions of dollars can migrate on-chain overnight. They have the whole infrastructure ready. They have been working on the liquidity rails for over a decade. This is why XRP has no competition. This is why XRP is my #1 holding. You don't find any company in the world that's connected to well over 13,000 banks. So I get it, price action feels boring right now. I have warned you, I have told you months ago, this will be a painful transition. But I don't think it makes any sense to sell XRP now, try to time the markets, buy a possible correction. I still believe we can see XRP below $1. And a lot of people ask me, should you sell XRP, try to buy the correction? I think that's a tremendous mistake. This is not a financial advice. And this is not a financial advice, but honestly, the moment that was actually a good choice was when XRP was above $3. A lot of people are actually exiting crypto right now. And honestly, I think that's a tremendous mistake. When prices are down, usually are the best opportunities. I actually predicted this scenario, so the time to take profits was months ago, not now. In my opinion, now is the time to DCA. You can increase your positions, focus on the utility coins, forget about speculation. Most cryptocurrencies won't ever recover. If you haven't realized yet, the whole concept of alt season is gone. There won't be enough liquidity to recover the majority of charts. There is simply too many coins. So my final thoughts, I am excited about XRP's future, but I understand this will likely be a painful transition as I have been predicting this scenario for years. You should realize by now there is a high chance we're going to see XRP below $1. I think that's going to be a tremendous opportunity, not a financial advice. And remember, I don't see any point of selling XRP now trying to time the market so that you can double your bags. It's extremely difficult to time the bottom. I think you should actually DCA. It's a far more wise strategy. And remember, if we have a crypto meltdown, which can happen at any time, very often exchanges limit the amount of crypto you can buy. Plenty of times there are huge corrections, but exchanges simply don't work. They actually favor the big players, so you better have your buy orders in place or actually simply DCA. I think that's the far better strategy. Remember, this is not a sprint. This is a marathon. Focus on assets solving real problems in real life. Forget about speculation. Forget about coins that hold no intrinsic value, and you shall thrive on the long term. Thank you, everyone. I'm going to see you in the next video.